Lots of people are moving to Richmond, Virginia, and for good reason. It's a city on the rise. But before you pack your bags, let me ask, which Richmond are you moving to? Depending on the area where you settle, you could be in for a huge surprise. Let's find out what people really mean when they talk about living in Richmond. Imagine you're a 6-year-old child growing up in northern India. One day your parents tell you that you're moving to America. America! All you can picture is the Disney castle in Orlando. But when the plane's wheels touch down in Detroit, you're in for a rude awakening. America is Chicago, it's Los Angeles, it's Boston, it's Dallas. Each of these cities has its own culture, its own attractions, its own headaches. On a different scale, the same is true about Greater Richmond. 1.4 million people live within this 90-minute radius in communities that are surprisingly diverse. Mannequin Sabbath feels very different than Colonial Heights, and the urban energy of Shockoe Bottom seems worlds away from the grassy green fields of Goochland. Are you curious to know which part of the Greater Richmond Metro is right for you? Well, let's break it down. When you think of Richmond, you may be thinking of Richmond City. It has a population of 227,000 people within 60.1 square miles. Interestingly, this independent city is also considered a county. Some of its most well-known areas are Church Hill, the Fan District, the Museum District, North Side, Scott's Addition, and a big area south of the river. As you can probably see, the city's border is very irregular. That's because over time, the city expanded by annexing bits and pieces of the surrounding counties. That stopped in 1970. In addition to being the state capital, Richmond is also the cultural capital of the region. Here you will find the most unique restaurants, performing arts venues, and annual festivals like the Richmond Folk Festival, Dominion Energy River Rock, the Lebanese Food Festival, and the Carytown Watermelon Festival. Some of the city's main attractions include the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, a world-class art museum with nearly 50,000 works spanning 6,000 years. There's Maymont, an historic estate with a mansion, beautiful gardens, and a nature center. There's the James River Park System, a 550-acre urban park system perfect for hiking, biking, kayaking, and rock climbing. The American Civil War Museum serves as the visitor center for the Richmond National Battlefield Park and explores the Civil War from Union, Confederate, and African American perspectives. And finally, there's Carytown, a vibrant mile-long shopping and dining destination known as Richmond's Mile of Style. Though it's the hub of the wheel, Richmond City represents just a fraction of the Greater Richmond metro area. 13 surrounding counties are included: Henrico, Hanover, King William, New Kent, Charles City, Prince George, Sussex, Dinwiddie, Chesterfield, Amelia, Powhatan, Goochland, and Caroline. The Greater Richmond Metro also includes 3 other small independent cities: Petersburg, with a population of 34,000, Hopewell, 23,000, and Colonial Heights, 18,000. Most of the region's population lives in 3 of these counties. Let's look at each one. Henrico County has a population of 334,000, comprising 245 square miles. It's about 4 times the size of Richmond City. As you can see, it sits on top of the city, a bit like a floppy old hat. Some of the main areas are Glen Allen, Tuckahoe, Lakeside, Highland Springs, Short Pump. When residents talk about the East End or the West End, they're referring to both ends of Henrico County. Main attractions here include Lewis Ginter Botanical Garden, with over 40 themed gardens and a conservatory. It's consistently rated among the top attractions in the Richmond area. Then there's Dory Park, a huge public park that's the site of many annual gatherings. And there's Short Pump Town Center, Richmond's premier shopping destination with over 140 stores, restaurants, and entertainment options. Chesterfield County encompasses 437 square miles with 384,000 residents. It's the most populous county in the Greater Richmond Metro and the fastest growing county in all of Virginia. Some of the most well-known areas are Bon Air, Midlothian, Chester, and Moseley. Favorite places to visit here include Pocahontas State Park, the largest state park in all of Virginia, which features hiking and biking trails, boating, fishing, camping, and the Civilian Conservation Corps Museum. Henrico's Historical Park. This living history museum recreates the second successful English settlement in the New World, established in 1611. And then there's one of my favorites, the Metro Richmond Zoo, a privately owned zoo with over 2,000 animals, including giraffes, cheetahs, and pygmy hippos. Hanover County is almost 8 times the size of Richmond City, containing 474 square miles. But its population is less than half, just 110,000. Main areas here include Ashland, Mechanicsville, Beaver Dam, and Montpelier. One of the biggest attractions here is King's Dominion, a popular amusement park with 13 roller coasters and a 20-acre water park. It's celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. There's the Hanover Tavern. George Washington, Patrick Henry, and the Marquis de Lafayette all spent time at this 225-year-old landmark. 2 major Civil War battlefields are here, Cold Harbor and Gaines Mill. There's the annual Hanover Tomato Festival, held on the second Saturday in July. This free, family, and pet-friendly festival celebrates Hanover's famous tomatoes. And then there's Ashland Train Day, a street festival held every April celebrating Ashland's railroad heritage. Before we go any further, let me pause just long enough to put my cell number on the screen. If you have any questions about this video or about Richmond in general, feel free to text or call anytime. And if it would help, I'd be happy to share a copy of my free Richmond home buying guide with you. It's packed with lots of information about the Greater Richmond metro area. Just click the link in the description below, okay? All right, well, let's press on. The Richmond City and its surrounding counties are governed independently. They do collaborate on strategic shared goals. Each jurisdiction maintains its own roads, but they work together to operate expressways and bridges. The bus system, Greater Richmond Transit Company, or the GRTC, is jointly owned by Richmond City and Chesterfield County. It includes services throughout Greater Richmond, including parts of Henrico and Chesterfield counties. Richmond City's wastewater treatment plant serves portions of the surrounding counties. The city actually provides water to approximately 500,000 people across the region, including contracts with Chesterfield, about 20% of its residents, Henrico, 33% of its residents, and Hanover, 75% of its residents. Prompted by a major crisis at Richmond's water treatment plant in 2025, all 3 counties are exploring options for greater independence from Richmond's water supply. The Greater Richmond Partnership, a regional economic development organization, fosters collaboration among Richmond, Henrico, Chesterfield, and Hanover to attract businesses and promote economic growth. The Richmond Region Tourism Authority collaborates with Henrico, Chesterfield, and Hanover to promote festivals and other attractions throughout Greater Richmond. Partnerships between the city and its surrounding counties are vital to the health and welfare of the Greater Richmond metro area. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot more of this in the years ahead. But as you consider what part of Greater Richmond should be your part, it's important to consider how each area differs from the others. Let's start with governance. Each county is governed by a board of supervisors. The Chesterfield and Henrico boards each have 5 members. Hanover has 7. These board members serve a 4-year term during which they manage the budget and set policies for the counties. Richmond City is governed quite differently. The City Council serves as the primary legislative body. 9 members, 1 from each city district, are elected for 4-year terms. The mayor, the city's top executive, also serves a 4-year term. The mayor proposes and manages the budget, oversees daily operations, as well as city services. Richmond uses a strong mayor system, which gives the mayor a lot of power, including the authority to veto legislation passed by the city council. The city and the surrounding counties each have their own fire departments and police departments. Chesterfield has 1.5 officers per 1,000 residents. Henrico, 1.9 officers. Hanover, 2.5 officers. And Richmond City has 2.91 officers per 1,000 residents. The public school systems in Richmond City, Henrico, Chesterfield, and Hanover each has a separate budget, curriculum, and administration. It's no simple thing to transfer from a school in one jurisdiction to another. Richmond and the counties each oversee their own trash collection and recycling. Each jurisdiction has its own budget. Richmond City has the largest, $3 billion. Next is Chesterfield at $2 billion. Henrico County, $1.35 billion. And Hanover County, the smallest, $774 million. Tax rates are one of the biggest differentiators between the city and its surrounding counties. Personal property tax and sales tax are both higher in the city, but it's the difference in the real estate tax that may shock you the most. In Hanover, the tax rate is just 81 cents per $1,000 in assessed value. Henrico, it's 83 cents. Chesterfield, 89 cents. In Richmond, it's $1.20. That means if you own a $500,000 home in the city, you're going to pay $6,000 in annual real estate tax, compared to just $4,050 if you own the same home in Hanover County. The other glaring differentiator is politics. Look no further than the results of the 2024 presidential election. In Richmond City, 82% voted Democrat and just 16% voted Republican. But in Chesterfield, 54% voted Democrat, 45% Republican. Similarly in Henrico, 52% Democrat, 46% Republican. And then in Hanover, 62% voted Republican, 36% Democrat. As you think about your own political convictions, your pocketbook, your school-aged children, or the quality of your tap water, you're going to want to keep these differences in mind as you search for your own perfect place here in Richmond. I hope this overview of the Greater Richmond metro area has been helpful. Richmond is not just one flavor. It's a smorgasbord. That's why it's so important to connect with an agent who understands the subtle nuances of this unique part of the country and understands you. If you think I could be that agent, my cell number's on the screen. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, I'll see you on the next video.